right. Thank you for being here today. Uh, yeah, I just came back from the gym and it's had a good workout. And I just wanted to come on here before I go back to work um, to talk to you guys and see how you guys are doing. Are these messages helping you? How are you guys? Um, are the messages resonating with you? If so, just let me know in the comment category um, what you think about some of these messages, because on some days it will resonate with some of you and on other days it may not so much. However, please keep in mind that all these messages are connected to grief and healing. So, and I just hope by me talking about my personal experiences of this that it's helping you. Well, today, this morning, when I was driving, the sun was out when I left, and then all of a sudden, this thick fog came when I was on the highway. And it was like weird because the sun was out, the day looked like, everything was good. And then all of a sudden, this fog came for about, I don't know, like half an hour or so, maybe a little longer. And then the sun came back out again. I thought it was a little weird. And but all is well, and I hope everything is good with you guys. This is allergy season, and I'm looking at, like, the weather, and it comes on my computer too. If it's pollen outside, I get concerned about that. I have to get some allergy meds because I have sinuses. That's why sometimes you see me, I'm blowing my nose and stuff because sinuses. And hopefully I can get something that will control it with this weather. So anyway, guys, I'm doing good. I wanted to just come on before I leave. I have to leave soon, but I wanted to come on. Like I said, I never know what time I'm going to be on, but I will be on like during the day. So please hit that um, subscribe button so you can get a notification as to when I'm here. And you can join me live or you can listen later. And tell other people, please continue to share these videos because sometimes people need to hear the message. They're going through stuff, and not everybody is going to come out and tell you what they're going through. They may be quiet more so than usual. You can see that their mood is changed, and it sometimes it's obvious that they're going through things. So just sharing these videos and they can come on and listen might help them because they might pick up something that they're currently going through and that I share here that might help them. So yes, and I'm not a therapist. I'm just someone who share information about everything that I've gone through and how I'm getting through it and how it's helping me to continue to heal and to grow and to evolve. So with that being said, let's get into this message. Um, One of the things I wanted to talk about is the title today. The topic of discussion is keep healing and keep growing. And that's important that we don't stop, just because a few others may not, you know, they may not care about it. They may feel some kind of way about it. But let me share something with you guys. And those who know what I'm talking about, just send me a comment about this. But anyone who has lost a loved one or a few loved ones or, a lot of people that meant the world to you and they're no longer here. Maybe some of them passed away unexpectedly and others, they were sick and they passed away. No, in any event, those people who passed away were a part of your life. And many of them meant the world to you, and they're no longer here. And because of that, you're going to always fill a void. You can get through the pain and the grief, but it's always going to be that void there because whatever they added to you, it's no longer here, and that's the part that's difficult to get through. And when you have gone through so much grief and pain of losing people who meant a lot to you, the world, you're never the same. And that's what some of these people don't understand. You're never the same. You're never going to be the same again. Like, my grandparents were the matriarch, for example, of the family. When my grandfather commanded respect. I remember, when I used to visit them because he had a farm in North Carolina, my grandparents, and he would be out in the field. I mean, he would be out, tending to the animals and et cetera. My grandmother cooked a meal, and the rest of us would be playing and laughing and acting crazy. As soon as he came in, we all sat down quiet, you know, because my grandfather commanded respect, you know, when he walked in a room. And you gave it to him or else. And that's how I remember him, and he didn't talk a whole lot. I spent a lot of time with my grandmother, but he did talk some. But we knew that we had to listen to him, and he didn't play any games with us. I just saw him as a very hard worker and a very serious man. And they were the matriarchs of the family, the glue that kept the foundation together, so to speak. And the people who kept the families together, in my case, I don't know about you guys, share in a comic category to tell me, but they're no longer here. And when the matriarchs start dying off in a family, it's like if other people don't keep it together, it starts to fall apart. And that's what seems to be the case here today. And I think of my grandparents as well as my mother, the things that they taught me, they're no longer here. And the people who were my friends, I'm talking about real friends who had my back, they're no longer here. And all these things, death after death after death will change your life forever. You will never be the same because of it. So I always find it difficult difficult to hear when someone says something inappropriate about my healing, and that, oh, well, you're not doing what you used to do, because I'm no longer that old version of myself, and it's not like I'm not Lisa. I am, but I am not that version. When you lose so much, it changes your life forever. And I had to get on this path to heal, or I wouldn't be here. It wasn't like that, it's either do the work or, not be here. I chose to do the work and I continue to do so, because everything that was going on has changed my life forever. You know, this is why I'm going to say this to everybody. If you have people in your life that you love very much, even pets, cherish that. Never take advantage of it, because one day they're not going to be here. God might ask, we are all on borrowed time, and God might ask for them back. So cherish the loved ones you have in your life, because one day they're not going to be here, you know. And that's what I have to say about that. But in reference to this topic on keep healing and growing, sometimes um, what I have to remember is to never allow anyone, to tell me that I cannot walk away from something. I'm never going to allow anyone to tell me that I cannot walk away from something that no longer serves my highest good. If it's not for my highest good, and if it's not enhancing my life and bringing peace to it and bringing happiness and all the good things to it, I am going to walk away from it, because it's not for my highest good. And it's okay to walk away from things that is not for your highest good, especially when you're in a place where you want to heal things in your life, you know. And toxicity is not for my highest good. I make it a point, you know, we all have some of it. None of us is perfect. And, you know, we all have something, including myself all the time, you know. But when we are serious about our healing and growth and self care and self love, for me, I can't have someone around me trying to interfere with that, you know, because we all are supposed to grow. You know, life is about lessons. And that's what I didn't understand at first. It took me a long time to learn that life is about lessons. Like I always talk about a season, a reason, a lifetime, and a lesson. And sometimes people are not supposed to stay in our life forever. They are there to teach us a lesson that we didn't learn the lesson before. They're there so that we can learn lessons. And then once the lesson is learned, then we can move on. That situation or that person is then removed from our life because the lesson has been learned. But if we don't learn them, we're going to repeat it. It may not be the same person, or it could, but a different person, a different situation, but the same lesson because we didn't learn it before. And I had to realize that, you know. And as I realized that, because I was repeating things over and over again, and I would say, deja vu, why is this situation reoccurring again? I just got rid of the other because I wasn't learning the lessons. And as I see it for what it is, and as I see behind that mask and not what I want it to be from a illusion, but to really see things for what it is and not call a duck a dog and vice versa and so forth, and see things for what it is, then I can learn the lesson and then I can move on from that situation. And this is what I'm learning, you know, and to know when someone is in my life and they're being genuine. And that's been a little difficult at times, but I go into prayer with God with all of it. Because sometimes, you know, it is always good to know if a person is in your life, are their intentions pure? What are their intentions? You know, because sometimes people come into your life for not so good reasons. I did a video yesterday about the takers and how some people don't want to take care of themselves, and you know, they want to take from others and live a good life off the back of somebody else. You know, and I talk, you know, frankly about that yesterday because I've been through that. And I had to realize as I got on this journey to heal, to say how I feel and not hold it in and not suppress it just for somebody else's benefit. And to let people know that this new version of myself is not playing games. You know, if somebody's here to take or do whatever, cut off, block, and delete is what I do. And I don't feel any kind of way about that as I used to. You know, setting boundaries as you're on this journey to heal is so important, people. And it doesn't matter if somebody gets angry about it. You can explain, you know, you don't have to be out of character and etc. to explain why you're doing this. You're healing, you have to self-care, you know, to take care of your physical and mental health. And sometimes you just need to be alone to pamper yourself, to do for you, because trauma and grief and due to loss and other traumatic situations take a toll on your mental and physical health. And if you're not okay, you can't, everything else around you is not okay. You know, you have to put yourself, especially when it comes to your physical and mental health, and make that a priority. And it doesn't matter how other people feel about that. You matter, you know, and if you're not okay, you can't do anything for yourself or anybody else. And keep that in mind. So one of the ways I started is by establishing boundaries. And people didn't like it. For example, you know, I have, you know, a situation where someone keeps crossing boundaries. And I've said and talked about it. And After you keep talking and talking and talking and saying things, we're adults here. Now, when I see that the situation keeps happening, reoccurring over and over, it makes me realize that this person is dismissing my boundaries, and it's a high level of disrespect. So what I do, okay, this is not going to work. I put everything into it. I explain. I went over this several times. So now it's time to walk away from the situation. And it is at that point I'm noticing when I walk away that people now want to compromise. But they had maybe a year to compromise, or maybe even longer, because I go over above and beyond to try to um, not to compromise. And when a person don't want to do it, it's my way or the highway. I usually take the highway because I am not catering to other people. It's my mental and physical health and my healing is not up for compromise. There's times that we as individuals need alone time. And it's not being selfish just because you have young kids or whatever. You need that break. It's just like when you work, work, work. That's why there's vacations in place so that you can go relax and take a breather and then come back. You're relaxed and you're in a good frame of mind. You can get to work. But when you work, 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 and you don't take a vacation, you just work, it's just, it takes a toll on your health, your physical and mental health. So it's important to always take care of yourself. And it's okay to explain to people, I need this time. You know, what I do is take time out every day. It's important to take even an hour, 2 hours um, to yourself. Even if you have younger kids, etc., um, and your schedule is busy, it's always important. Take time out for you. You need that, and then you can come back to whatever you need to do after you take that time, you know. So that's so important. It is so important to establish boundaries because if you don't, people will walk over you and they will keep, and they won't feel any kind of way about it. And that's why you have to establish these boundaries so that you can take care of yourself and let people know why. And if they are continuing to cross boundaries, it's very dismissive and I find it highly disrespectful. So, like I said, after I have several conversations over and over again, if it continues, then I cut off, block, and delete and just make my exit and I'm done with it. Because it's a lesson to me to see if I am going to stay in this place of healing and growth and evolving instead of being in a place, and being at peace instead of being in pieces. And I refuse to allow what I used to allow, what the old version of myself used to allow. I'm not doing that anymore. And, it doesn't matter how other people feel about that because I matter as well as everybody else. And it's important that I take care of myself. It's important that you guys take care of yourself. You are worth it. Never let anybody make you feel insignificant or less than. When you get up in the morning, like what I do, the first thing is thank God for waking me up, and look in the mirror and say you're worth it. Tell yourself you're worth it. It doesn't matter if 1,000 people say you're not. You are worth it. You have to self-love on yourself because if you don't love you, how are you going to give to someone else? It's important to love you, not to be in love with yourself, but to love you. Because as you start to heal, you start to self care. As you start to self care, you start to self love. And then when you need a break, you take that break and then you get back to whatever it is that's going on that you need to. Things that uplift you and keep you in a place where your vibrations are high and not in toxicity. Like I said again, it's better to be at peace than to be in pieces. That's the message today. Thank you all for being here, and I will see you guys tomorrow. You let me know in the comments like what you're getting from these videos, and I hope it's helping you. And please share them with others. This is Lisa shedding love and light, and you guys have a good evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.